Good morning, guys. My name is Julius Kisienye. I'm a second year nursing student. I hope you're all doing well. So this is in favor of my project, INS 112X. So it's group D. So welcome and be my guest. So today there is an aspect of corruption in our country, and we all know what corruption has done to our country. It has brought uh, the negative impacts to such an extent that we are growing with a negative deviation. So the main thing, or the main reason as to why I'm preparing this video, is to impact and instill positive values to each and every youth member who is out there, so that you can save our country. So be ready, and let's move together in doing this. So I have a story to tell about corruption. So there is this senior official who is working in the government offices. Now he has friends. Everybody has friends. We all need friends so that we can live to survive. But now his friendship was to that toxic level. This senior official had a friend, and his friend had a daughter. The daughter was not so good in school. As a result, the father of the daughter decided to help the daughter so that she could pursue with her course in the medical field. Because this senior official was a friend to the father, he was bribed only for the sake of this daughter to gain an entrance to the medical field. At the end of it all, both parties satisfied themselves. The daughter received some love from the father, but the love was a menace to the society, but it was all not visible at then. So this senior official gave the necessary documents to the daughter so that the daughter could sign and now enroll to the medical field. The daughter ended up joining the medical field. She went abroad to further her studies. But let's keep in mind that this daughter did not qualify and did not meet the threshold to enter into the medical field. So in another instance, we see that this senior official becomes a member of corruption again. The story is quite interesting, and if we follow together, we'll get to learn and we'll get to improve our society together. So in this scenario, this senior official was bribed again by a friend who was working in the government sector, a friend who had occupied an office in the government, and as a result, they were so close to each other. It happened that this friend had a relative. This relative had the ambition, had the vision, of becoming a chef. But this relative had not met the criteria. The relative had not met the required threshold for him to become a chef. But because money is sweet and friendship is sometimes enticing, that it can cause us to forget about our own souls only for the sake of the ones we love. So these two government officials ended up engaging into a lucrative business. They therefore made a deal. They bribed each other in such a way that the government official, who is already a member of corruption, was once again bribed. He was bribed to allow the relative to gain an entrance into the field of food and technology. To this scenario again, the government official provided the necessary documents. The relative ended up signing these documents and his wish was granted. He ended up entering into the field of food and technology. He ended up fulfilling his dream. His ambitions were satisfied, but not in the right way. In this scenario, we can see that the aspect of corruption is growing gradually and gradually, slowly and slowly. It's building, it's embarking from a little point and growing to a bigger point. And we'll come to see how it affects our own society. Yeah, so in another instance, the government official is also involved. So in this case, it involves the son of a minister. So the son of a minister wanted to be a pilot, but once again, the son of a minister did not meet the threshold. As a result, the minister bribed the government official. The government official allowed this son of a minister to get into the field of science. The son of a minister ended up joining the School of Aviation and proceeded with his career. So after all that, one day, after several years, the government official was sent for a government meeting. The meeting was supposed to take place in Barbados. And as a result, this government official had to travel. And the means of traveling was by use of air. So the government official ended up boarding a plane. And unexpectedly, the pilot of that plane was the son of the man with who had bribed the government official. When the government official saw this, he was tensed. He saw like the end of him has come because he knew he had made mistakes in the past by allowing this son of his friend to become a pilot. But fortunately, the journey ended up being well. But while in the plane, there was also the air hostess. The air hostess was the daughter of the friend to this government official also. And the government official was also concerned with his health because he knew very well that he had made a mistake and that this daughter was not so good in cooking, and therefore he was concerned with his health. He didn't know if the food was well. He didn't know if the food was safe for him to consume. But because he had no choice, he ended up consuming the food, but full of doubt. As I have said, the journey ended up well. They reached the place safely. That's fortunately. But on reaching to his destination, the government official was not well. Why? Why was the government official not well? One, because of the stress and the tension that he had and the doubts that he had on the pilot. Two, the government official was not well because he had taken food which was not well prepared. As a result, he ended up suffering from osmotic diarrhea. And because of this, the government official had to look for medications because he was getting worse as the days were moving on. And he had a meeting to attend. So as a matter of fact, he had to visit an hospital. In the hospital, there was also another surprise. The doctor who was going to treat the government official was the son of the government official's friend. We remember that this son had not met the criteria of joining the medical field, and as a result, the doctor also doubted the services, the medical services that he was going to be provided by this doctor. At the end of it all, the government official ended up being paralyzed because the kind of medications, the kind of injections that he was given was not right. The technique that was used to inject him the drug was not right. As a result, the government official was injured his nerves. Because of this, he was paralyzed. He suffered from hemiplegia, and as a result, he could not continue with his work. What do we learn from this? So, in conclusion, we want to learn. We are the youths of this country, and what are we supposed to end corruption? So, the first thing, we have to know that we are the power. We are the strongholds of our society, and we need to do things right. We should not be the perpetuators of corruption in our country. We should be the barriers and the people to end corruption. So, what are some of the things that we learn from these stories? Number one, as youths, we learn that we are the driving force. We are the people supposed to move our country from the level that it is to another level. And we are supposed to do that in a positive deviation. Nothing should be in a negative deviation. As a result, we should unite together to promote teamwork, to promote peace, and to end corruption. Another thing that we learn from this story is that corruption kills us. We see from the story that the government official ends up being paralyzed. That's a consequence of his own mistakes. And therefore, as youths, we should not make mistakes. We should not be corrupted, because at the end of it all, we will face the consequence. And maybe we might not be able to bear with the consequences. Another thing that we learn from this story is that corruption endangers the life of others. You can imagine the doctor paralyzed the government officials. Now, how many people have been paralyzed by the same doctor? So that's why I'm saying that corruption endangers the life of the people. As a result, we should unite. We should build something so special that will help us to avoid that. We should not endanger the life of our beloved ones. And lastly, I want to end this by sending a message to all the youths worldwide that with every action there is always a consequence, and the consequence in this case may be your death. So let's check on that, let's improve on ourselves, and let's end corruption. Thank you.
Barua toka Jaramogi na Kenyatta, wanauliza kama Kenya kuko sawa. Nikawajibu Kenya tuko na disaster, watoto wetu wanazidi kuzikana.